Welcome back on this Business Wednesday. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce recently released a report looking at the outlook of business in 2021. I spoke with the Executive Vice President and COO at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce all about this report. Let's find out more.
The pandemic has caused unprecedented economic disruption. In conjunction with the State of American Business, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has released a new economic report on the outlook for and challenges facing key industries across the country and in our state. Neil Bradley is the Executive VP and a Policy Officer at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and is joining us with more. Thanks, Neil, for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Christine. It's a pleasure to join you.
So can you tell us about the results of the new economic report on the business outlook for recovery in 2021?
Absolutely. So what we did at the U.S. Chambers, we went out and surveyed 37 different industries. And we asked them, how are you doing today relative to pre-pandemic? And what we learned is it's a tale of two economies. Half of those 37 industries are doing as well or better today than they were pre-pandemic. Of course, that means that the other half are doing worse. And in some cases, they are really struggling. We think about the leisure and hospitality industry, for example, travel and tourism, hotels, restaurants, those sectors are where the job losses have really been concentrated, both nationally and even there in Utah with, some 25,000 leisure and hospitality jobs that existed in February gone today. And so the key to recovery is really helping these struggling sectors get back on their feet and then putting the building blocks in place for really robust economic growth in 2021.
What can local businesses in our state, right here in Utah, do to rally for recovery post-pandemic?
Yeah, well, part of the key, of course, is, Christine, as you just said, is getting to post-pandemic. That's why turbocharging the vaccination program, really focused on beating this pandemic, is so critically important. But each of us as individuals can also do our part, shopping locally, supporting our local restaurants and retailers. That can really make a huge impact. And of course, for those businesses that are struggling, making sure that they access the programs that have been made available to them. Congress did pass a new pandemic relief package right before the end of the year, really thanks in part to your representatives in Congress who helped lead the fight to get that done. That means new forgivable loans, new tax credits for small businesses. So getting those resources and accessing those will really be key.
And how will business work with the new administration to get things done on issues including infrastructure, immigration, and the workforce?
Well, you just mentioned three of the key priorities, and you're right. We have a new administration and a closely divided Congress. 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats in the U.S. Senate. Doesn't get any closer than 50-50. So the key is they got to work together, Republicans and Democrats, bipartisanship. But we also need to set some expectations for them. For example, we've been talking to the Biden administration. We've told them, we've told Congress, we want to see an infrastructure bill done by the 4th of July. That would be a huge shot into the arm of the economy. It would create a lot of good new jobs, and it would also improve the economic growth over the long term. So really a win-win. The key is bipartisanship. We've been convening Republicans and Democrats together at the same virtual table, because of course it is 2021, and just saying, this is our expectation. How are you going to work together to get it done?
And what are the Chamber's most important legislative and regulatory priorities to help local businesses recover?
Well, when it comes to regulation, really the message is do no harm. Small businesses are dealing with enough already. I was just visiting with the folks at the Salt Lake City Chamber earlier this week, and we were talking about how both at the state level and at the federal level, the priority has to be do no harm, no additional new regulations that businesses have to figure out how to comply with. On the positive side, it's really about investments in the future. That means investments in infrastructure, the things that help make our economy hum, broadband and telecommunications, but roads and bridges and transit. It also means skills and human capital. For all those 10 million Americans who are out of work today, the key in many instances will be getting them the skills they need to change jobs, to change sectors. And if we can do those type of things, both at the federal and the state and the local level, we should be in pretty good shape in 2021.
And where can we go for more information and the latest on support available for local businesses?
Sure, both on the economic report and all those resources for small businesses that I talked about a moment ago, go to uschamber.com. That's uschamber.com, and it's all there available and waiting for you.
Well, thank you so much, Neil Bradley, for joining us with this important information and ways that we can support local businesses and ways they can find support.
Thanks for having me, Christine. Happy New Year.